What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and today we are taking a look at another viewer's car. This is Jan Willem's ALPINA B3S from 2004, and it was actually submitted by his son. Thank you so much, amazing, and well, great to meet you, and always lovely to drive viewers' cars because those are usually the most fun ones. So this is a very special car. Only 250 of these were built, and today I'm going to show you around it. We'll take a quick look at it, and then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. Now, ALPINA, as you know, we love it. They are usually a bit more comfortable than the M versions of the same generation, and they are usually very cool. And the same goes for this B3S, if you ask me. So we've got a lovely little splitter here, as you can see, just a straight bumper going down with the ALPINA logo on there as well. Super nice, ALPINA badge right there. E46. This is a sedan, as you can see. Well, they also made coupes, convertibles, and later on they also came with a station wagon version of the B3. I think it's a very handsome car. I think if you have the right spec, like, you know, these ALPINAs usually are very good specs, I think it's super good looking. It's like classic BMW, you know, normal sized kidney grills. Beautiful. Lovely ALPINA wheels as well, these multi-spoke ones with the cover, of course, and then ALPINA brakes behind that. They are pretty good, although, you know, it only weighs 1455 kilos, so you don't need super powerful brakes because the car is not that heavy. We've got Pilot Sport 4 Michelins at the front. Lovely chrome trim as well. That color, it does really well in the sunlight, right? This is ALPINA blue, super cool. And then at the rear we've got 255 Michelin Pilot Sport 5s. It sits nicely as well. You see the lowering that ALPINA does. They also changed the springs and stuff. It sits really nicely. ALPINA B3S badge. We've got a little spoiler here, a Boyson exhaust that ALPINA installs for the B3S. And let's check out the engine, which is a 3.4 liter straight six, which is a very special engine because this is actually the last hand-built straight six from BMW. So when this B3 was introduced in 1999, it was based on the 328i. It was a 3.3 liter. After that, in 2002, it was updated, still a 3.3 liter, but it was based on the 330i. But in both instances, they used the S52 from the US spec M3. So that is what this engine is based on. And then for the B3S, they increased it to 3.4 liters. The 3.3 had 280 horsepower when it came out. This is 305. So you get a nice little bump. At the time, the M3 had 343 horsepower, so it is just shy of that, but it's also not really meant to overdo it. The M3 was much more sporty, available with a manual or, of course, the SMG gearbox. This is available with a manual or a regular automatic. You can see the BMW ALPINA badge right there, B3 3.4 ALPINA bij Bovensiepen GmbH, and it is ALPINA Blau 2. Very nice. So as you know, this is more about cruising. It's not meant to be an M3 killer or anything like that. It is meant to be, you know, a high-speed cruise machine, and that is just a lovely thing. I always love driving these cars because they just think about cars in a way that just speaks to me, and the details they add always just make me happy, like the blue speedometer. As you can see, those faces, that is just so beautiful. Just blue, beautiful white lettering. That is a nice speedometer. We've got an ALPINA badge there, and then these little stitchings here to indicate that this is your downshift button and this is your upshift button. Little accents, this is optional. So all the seats have these green and blue accents, the doors as well. Gorgeous wood here as well with a little ALPINA badge there. Rear seats as well, same stitching. Just lovely. Wooden gear lever as well for the automatic. Absolutely stunning. So listen to that. That is what a proper car sounds like. Oh, so yeah, let's go for a drive and see what this thing feels like. 97,000 kilometers on this B3S. Let's open the window a little bit. Not sure if there are horses around, so we'll just check the tunnel quick. Gearbox in sport mode or manual mode, which means you can also shift with the buttons, which gives you a little bit more control. Oh, that sounds like a proper BMW. So when you drive the car in drive mode for the gearbox, it shifts at 6,500 RPM at the red line there. But if you put it in manual mode, the red line is actually at like 7,000. So you get a little bit more for your money, and it's also the fastest that way. But listen to that engine sing. Oh, that shift was at 6.5. Maybe in first gear it does so still. Anyway, driving. Again, as always, it is a lovely balance between a sporty character and a comfortable car. So everything feels beautifully weighted, and the car is nicely balanced, but it is very comfy. It also rolls a little bit, as you might be able to see on camera. But the good thing is that when you turn it in, you actually feel what is going on, and that means that you can drive this car very fast. It's also a very good setup for street use. So if you have a less than perfect road, you can also drive fast on it because the suspension just absorbs everything. The automatic though, it kind of changes the character of the car. So as I said, a manual was also available, and I think if you go for a manual B3S, you have one of the nicest relatively modern drivers BMWs available. You have that beautiful 3.4 with a manual. I think then the car becomes a lot more sporty to drive, a bit more playful. With the automatic, you're kind of working around it to make sure that it's, you know, it feels like a relatively sporty car, if that makes sense. So second gear. Oh, pretty long gears as well, of course. It's a bit of an old school gearbox, but it does mean that it is a really good long distance car. It's so comfy and sort of soothing to drive. It feeds the soul of any petrol head. I guarantee you, it is just such a nice experience. It's buttery smooth. It sounds amazing. Oh, it's a really good car, this. They only made 250 of these, and this is number 161. So we have a little plaque there, which is always super nice. So let's hit the Autobahn. We'll use sport mode for that. Oh, I love those gauges. It makes me so happy. Deep sound as well from that exhaust. Okay, so little speed. That's not bad. It's pretty good. Okay, full throttle. See, 7,000 RPM there. It shifts up automatically. I don't have to do anything. 100 to 200 we measured 16.5 seconds, which is actually not bad. It's about the same time as a Maserati Ghibli with 330 horsepower, but it's also just 3 seconds off the pace of an E46 M3 with a manual, which I find pretty impressive. That's close to 250. It is a naturally aspirated engine, of course, 305 horsepower. It needs a lot of space to get close to its top speed, which is 266, 270. But just the way it picks up, and especially the way it has been set up, this suspension is just beautiful. This is what they're made for, right? It's just Autobahn blasting, covering distance at speed. It's actually pretty amazing. It's a 2004 car, and the ease with which this thing cruises at 200 plus is kind of incredible. So little bumps. Oh. It feels solid as well. It feels well built. This thing is 20 years old almost. That is actually pretty impressive. So here we go, full throttle. Let's go back to sport mode. And all the way to 7,000 RPM. Oh. Don't you love it? When the sound actually changes from rev to rev. It sounds completely different at 3,000 compared to 7,000. That is something that used to be so normal, but now feels so special. So use the buttons behind the steering wheel, go back to third, full throttle. Oh. Man, oh man. So their philosophy is basically you need a fast, comfortable car to drive every day, to your work, preferably on the Autobahn where there's no limit, and it needs to do that every day, and it needs to feel good doing it. Well, bumps, no issue. 240. So there we go again. First kind of sunny, warm day of the year. It's 22 degrees outside, but the GoPro decides that it is too hot, so it keeps overheating, which means end of video because we're at the border as well. But this car is glorious. Jan Willem, thank you so much for taking it to us. Absolutely loved driving it. Keep them coming, guys. These gems are amazing to drive. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.